What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Unstuck Movement. As always, I am your host, Rob Z. Today, we're going to be talking resilience, strategy, consistency, identity, scaling, among so many other things on this podcast. Really excited to have Jake Smolarek with us, who is a no BS performance coach. And Jake, we're going to go into the personal stuff right off the bat as we start this episode, because I want to know the story of the moments that changed your life and what changed for you after you were told that you had only months to live. How long ago was that situation? What was going on, and what changed?
Oh, it was many years ago, about 16, 15 years ago, maybe even more. I was told by my doctor that I only a few months to live. And I remember like today, I said to that doctor that, you know what, you are a horrible doctor. And I said something like, you know what, I will die when I decide to die. I was very cocky.
Oh, wow,
but but at the same time, I decided that I will do everything that I can, everything that in my power to change that. And as you see, I'm still healthy. I'm, I run sometimes 10 kilometers a day for like 60 days in a row, trying to be unstoppable. And when people say like, oh, you cannot run 10K when you're 40 years old. Well, I'm doing it. So maybe you can't, but I can. But yeah, I remember that mind shift. I remember that moment I understood that you always have two choices. You can either give up or you can keep. Because I always say to people, you see, you will always have moments in your life that you're going to go down, but try to bounce, don't break.
Yeah, that's good advice. Learn how to bounce, not break whenever you land. That's good advice, man. What was going on that this was the situation that your doctor said you only had months to live? What was that about?
Well, yeah, I was very sick, very ill. At the same time, I lost my business. My girlfriend left me, and basically I was kind of homeless. I wasn't homeless like living on the street, just for a few weeks living on furniture and sofas and stuff like that. But it was an interesting moment. One of those moments when everything's going bad, it's just in one go.
Yeah.
But again, I remember like today, I was walking on the street. I didn't have keys. I remember that very clearly. I didn't have any keys. It was like I don't have a place to live. But I made a decision like it's not going to be like this. I'm going to change it. 6 months later, I bought a nice Mercedes-Benz, not the brand new, but it was very nice. I basically changed everything around. I started a new business. I built that business. I scaled that business. I basically changed everything.
Okay. I'm excited to go down the road. Let's go there in a second. I just want to welcome everybody here. Take a pause for a second. This is the Unstuck Movement. This platform was created to help you find breakthrough in your life personally and professionally. So I bring incredible guests on who've had true testimonies of breakthrough to prove to you that it's possible for you to find that breakthrough in your life. We're sponsored by the Connected Leaders Academy. Make sure you check out connectedleadersacademy.com. Over 500 entrepreneurs, heart-centered entrepreneurs from all over the world helping each other grow. And also, if you want to launch your podcast and get your platform off the ground, you want to streamline it and monetize it, I want to help you do that with the Pro Podcaster Academy at robzwentz.com. So today with us, once again, full introduction for Jake Smolarek, a no BS high performance helping ambitious leaders scale smarter, grow with clarity, and stop playing small. With 2 decades in business and nearly as long coaching, he delivers bold frameworks that drive real world results. So Jake, what you were diagnosed, you lost your place to live, you broke up with your girlfriend, things were kind of like sounds like bad things come in threes. People say that sometimes. And so some things were really hitting you in your life. It sounds like you had a lot of and ambition coming out of this. Did you have that drive and ambition going into that situation? I know you telling the doctor that he's wrong and that he's not a good doctor is a pretty bold move. So was that like a character trait of you grew up with? It's always kind of been in you?
Yeah, I always say to my friends and my clients, like, I'm not the guy who would be good for a job. I would probably fire my boss 2 days after I got the job or something like that. It's just like, don't tell me what to do. Don't take me wrong. I've got coaches and mentors. One of my great mentors is called John, and he used to work with Steve Jobs, Steve Jobs from Apple. And he's an amazing mentor. He was an amazing mentor, like a friend rather than, in a mentorship, MNT relationship. But I always take advice, but I will take advice from people that I want to take advice from. I don't take advice. You know what they say? The most expensive advice, it's a free advice. Your mom telling you, oh, don't build that business, or don't do this because you might fail. Of course you will fail. You will fail many times in your life. That's part of the game. When you're playing a video, you also fail all the time, but you want to keep playing. Life is exactly the same. You just have to keep playing. I always say to people, we're using the wrong F word. It's not failure, it's feedback. You have to fail because there's very little that we can learn from the success or successes, but there's a lot that we can learn from failures.
That's really good, man. It's not failure, it's feedback. That's a great looking at that. And I think that if we reframe things in that way, you can see all of the feedback coming at you all the time. And what a great way to explain it as a video game, because think about that in video games. Like you don't plan on picking up a video game and beating the game right away, like making it through 100%. So it's really interesting. Why do we look at life that way? And how can we put those two things in tandem? Because life is kind of like a video game. A lot of trials, a lot of errors, a lot of a test your way, and you got to keep going, keep pushing forward. So I love that, man. That's a really, really positive way to look at life.
And keep enjoying it, right? I always say to people, or try to explain, you're not playing a video game to win and finish. You're playing a video game to have fun. And life is exactly the same. When they say it's not the destination, it's the journey. It's 100% true. Every single time when you actually achieve your goal, you will ask, okay, what next? Because the journey is just finished. You want another journey. We will probably explain my Vision GPS framework in a moment. And that's exactly what it is. The vision is your destination, but once you get it, once you achieve it, you want another destination and another one and another one. That's exactly what happened to astronauts who will come from space or from the moon even. Like, we can't go to Mars yet because we don't have the technology and the money and the funds. And when some of those astronauts, when they come from space, there's nothing else that they can do. There's no bigger goals, and they get depressed. They get upset because there's nothing else. That's why
I think about that with NFL play, any high level sports athlete.
Correct.
Right? You win the big game, the championship, and that's what you worked your whole entire life for. And a lot of times those guys are in like their mid-20s. And they achieved the biggest vision they ever had, and now they're like, well, now what? So, what is the Vision GPS? How does that work?
One second, just to explain. Listen, look what happened to Michael Jordan when he won his first championship. It was like entire team was setting, and Michael Jordan was like, okay, number 2. He was just like straight away like number 2, and then he won the second one, and he was like number 3. That's the champion's mentality. There's always something, because you have to have something to chase. You need to have something that will push you when you have a bad day. And that's exactly what my Vision GPS explained. First of all, you must know what is it that you want. As it sounds, you have to know what is it that you want. When you listen to all successful people, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Michael Jordan, Steve Jobs, anyone, name any. They always talk about vision. And I'm not talking about big. Some of them, they've got huge visions. I mean, whatever you like, Elon Musk or not, this guy have a big vision. Bill Gates wanted to have, a PC on every single desk, on everyone's desks, right? And he kind of achieved it. Most people have computers these days. Most people have computers in their pockets. So you have to know what is it that you want, and dream big dreams. Your vision is your dream. A vision are not goals. So the GPS, it's an acronym from goals, planning process, and systems.
Mm.
So first of all, you have to have destination, your vision, Northern Star, however you want to call it, your dream, right? And vision is, interestingly enough, the vision is something that you will never ever achieve. You will be chasing it your entire life, and in a good way, because your vision will change, your vision will evolve all the time. Your vision 10 years ago is not your vision today, and your vision 10 years from now, it's not going to be the same vision you have today.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good thing, because now we go into goals. We should have long-term goals, short-term goals, medium-term goals. We should also have those smart goals. Again, as cliche as it sounds, they have to be smart. Smart is from the coaching world, which is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based. You have to have a deadline, and then you have to have a process, not just the plan, but the planning process. People ask me, okay, what's the difference between a plan and a planning process? A plan is fixed. A great example, we can use pandemic. Before the pandemic, people had plans. Suddenly, everything changed. We have to stay at home. Nobody can go out. People with plans, they failed.
Mm-hmm.
People who've been using planning process, they survive. They adjust to the situation, because planning process is flexible. I based the P from the Vision GPS partly on a great book from Sun Tzu, The Art of War. When he's explaining, like, you have to know what's going on all the time. You have to be prepared. You have to observe your enemy and make sure that you can act quickly. That's what planning process is all about. And then S is for different kind of system that we can use in a business world. Easy for me to explain. I also own digital marketing agency. We use, for example, Google Ads. It's a system that works 24/7. Or we do search engine optimization system that works 24/7. And interestingly enough, once you have that GPS, this GPS will work exactly like the GPS at your car. You put your destination, and the GPS will take you to your destination. But you have to know what is that. What's that destination? What's your vision? Otherwise, you might have the best GPS in the world, but you're going to be drifting your entire life.
Yeah. Sending off in the wrong direction all the time, or having the world
Correct.
pull you in a bunch of different directions. The planning process, really important too. I love that, because great acronym, by the way. I love the GPS, perfect acronym with the words that are connected to it: goals, planning process, and couldn't agree more. And that's really, really good, making that acronym. And it's interesting, because a lot of the times, especially in entrepreneurship, you can fly by the seat of your pants. There's so many different things you can do. There's so many opportunities, but having that vision to know what you're heading towards is so valuable, because there's so many shiny objects, and so many things seem like they're good ideas when they come up to you, right? I'm sure this happens to you. It happens to me all the time. I'll see somebody doing something that looks great, and I'm like, oh, do that thing. And I'm like, hold on a second. I know who I am. I know where I'm going, and I know why I'm going there. So that gives you like tunnel vision to keep all the distracting things out. And what do you do to block that stuff out, to keep that vision in your mind? Because it's easy. It can be easy to lose focus day to day. What are some of the things that keep that strong for you?
So basically what you're asking is, how do I get rid of distractions, right?
Sure. Yes.
And there's only one answer. I just get rid of distractions. Period.
Okay. But what do you do?
Just
practically?
remove them. Whatever your distraction is, if it's Facebook, get rid of it. Block it. Use some form of softwares and tools that will prevent you from using it during working hours. Whatever your distraction is, get rid of it. Like, imagine that someone is trying to quit eating sweets, candies. Someone is trying to stop drinking alcohol for a month, for example, right? What is the easiest and best thing to do? Get rid of all the alcohol from your house, because I don't care how strong you are. you're going to have a weak moment.
Mhm.
That's why you don't want the alcohol to be in the house. Just go play a video game or do something like that. Get busy, do some work, go to bed, go to sleep, but get rid of all the distractions. Whatever distraction is, get rid of it uh, as much as you can. If you can remove it completely, like you cannot always remove everyone from your life, right?
Mhm.
For example, if you have adult parents, you cannot just remove them from your life, but you can limit it, the amount of time you're going to spend with them, with you. Or is it a friend or a colleague or whatever? You can always at least reduce the amount of, which means like get rid of all the distractions, whatever it is, just get rid of it.
Yeah. Good advice, man. And it's so true, because like if you don't have the thing in your house, or that whatever that thing is that is
Correct.
distracting you, there's gonna be weak moments. Those weak moments are, because
Mm.
you can say to yourself, "Oh, I can keep it there for a rainy day," but those weak moments will draw you towards
Oh
that
yeah.
thing. That's a really, really good piece of advice. I'm curious how you answer this. So we talk about people wanting success in their life. What would you say is the big lie that people believe about success, and how can we unlearn that, whatever that thing is?
The biggest secret Formula One driver, you have to invest a lot of time. If you want to
Mm,
become the best coach in the world, you have to invest a lot of time. If you
mhm.
want to be the best speaker, you have to speak a lot for a long period of time. Whatever you want to be good at, you know that who was saying that? Was it Gladwell who said it's 10,000 hours? You have to invest 10,000 hours to become an expert in something.
Yeah, mastery.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's true. The only thing is, 10,000 hours is just an example, because for some people it will be 10,000 hours.
Hmm.
For some lucky bastards, it's going to be 5,000 hours. And for some people, it's going to be 25,000 hours. Like, I'm not that good at learning new things. I'm not very good at learning languages, for example. I only speak two. English is my second language. It took me forever because I'm just not good with languages. But I just accepted, like, if it's going to take me 25,000 hour, well, let me just start with first hour, and then a second, and then the third, and just keep doing the damn thing until you reach the 25K, and you're going to be good at something.
Hmm.
The same with anything. It's just you have to give yourself time. Most people, they overestimate what they can do in a week or a month, and they underestimate what they can do in 10 years.
Yeah. The compound interest is everything, and it's
Oh
very
yeah.
real. And to
Oh
know
yeah.
how real it is, you have to put the work in day by day to make that process work. And like you said, sometimes it might be 10,000 hours to master something, but somebody could master it in 5,000 hours. That really speaks to knowing what your giftings are, knowing what your strengths
Yeah.
are,
Oh
and
yeah.
putting your focus on those areas. How did you identify, okay, here are my strengths, here's what I'm gifted at, and then double down on those things? Do you have a good strategy for people, maybe they're working constantly on the wrong things, they're working on their weaknesses, and they
Oh yeah.
have trouble identifying what their strengths are? What was that journey like for you?
Oh yeah. You see, most people, they major in minor things,
Hmm.
unfortunately. You have to sit down and think about, okay, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses? Take a pen, take a piece of paper, and start writing. If you're not sure, or you're a little bit like, I don't know, it's very difficult for me to judge, go and ask your wife, go and ask your husband, go and ask your good friends and colleagues. Get feedback. Getting feedback is basically delegating to other people. Very as simple as that. And start writing it down. And then it's just and see, like, I mean, most people, they know what they're good at, and they know what they're sucking at.
Hmm.
For example, if you're running a business, you have to be good at selling. When people say like, oh, I'm not good at selling, I don't want to be a salesman or saleswoman, if you want to run a business, you have to learn that. The good thing is, if you want to run a business or a side hustle, uh, every business skill is learnable. Every business skill is learnable. You can learn any skill that you want if you want to run a business. It will take some time, but it's possible to do it. So there's no excuses. I hate when people say like, oh, I will never be successful because I wasn't born with a success chromosome or something like that. No, that's not true. You can learn any skill that you want if you want to run a business.
Yeah. And that goes back to the distractions, right? Because especially now we are inundated with so many freaking distractions all the time. And so if you can be one of the people who can become very disciplined in going after the things that you want, you're going to jump ahead by leaps and bounds because of how distracted everybody is. Like, we live in an opportunity in our society now where distraction is at an all-time high. And I think that discipline is at an all-time low. So if you can become a disciplined person, it's going to drastically change your life.
Correct. Discipline is the most important thing. I remember some years ago, I gained some weight, and I said to myself, oh, okay, I need to lose that weight. I'll be talking in kilograms. Sorry, so not in stones or anything else.
I'll get a Google converter so I can understand.
There you go. I use the European metrics. And I lost 14 kilograms in 45 days. And that's a lot. That's a lot really fast. And some of my clients, they ask me like, how did you do that? That's like insane. And I explained to them, it's very easy. Do you not know my secret? I was like, yeah, tell me. It's very easy. You go for a 2-hour walk in the morning, 2 hour. And then you do about 10 or 11 kilometers run in the evening. And then you go to the gym 5 times a week, and you do that 45 days in a row, and you're going to lose 14 kilograms. It's very easy. It's so easy. The problem is it's so easy to do that it's also easy not to do.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to skip. I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it tomorrow. And when people ask me like, how do you do that you're so disciplined? I have to explain, I have this secret milkshake or discipline shake I drink with milk in the morning, and then that's why I'm so disciplined. No, you just do the thing, you promise yourself that you're going to do it, and you just do it. When I say to myself, okay, for 45 days or 60 days or whatever it is, I'm going to do 10K a day, every day, it's not a choice anymore. It's like eating a breakfast or dinner, it's part of the day. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And the word I like to use is simple, right? Because for some people, like, that concept is like, okay, I get that it was easy for him. That might not be easy for me wherever you're starting out at. The concept is simple. Like, and like you said, what you have to do. Like, like, these are the things that cause me to lose weight. Like, maybe I'll do a 14-hour fast a day. I'm not going to eat. I'll eat dinner, and then I won't eat again until lunchtime. Like, and also exercise along with that. There's simple ways to do these things. They're not complicated. And I think that's the big thing too. I love to emphasize, because you need to hear it over and over and over again. It's not complicated to do these things. It is simple, but it is the discipline and it's the drive and the want and the will to do them. And so I think that's so valuable to understand. So when we're going to pause for a second, take a quick break to shout out the sponsor of the show. When we come back, I know you talk about no 0% days. I love that whole concept. I know we're going to dive into it, unstoppable momentum, but I want to talk about these no 0% days, what that means to you. And yeah, we'll go from there. We'll be back in 1 minute. Are you struggling to make consistent, valuable content for yourself? Do you want to have an efficient and effective way to create content that attracts the people that you want to connect with in life, the people you want to build relationships with in business? Do you want to be the go-to authority at what you do, at what you're great at? Would it be helpful for you if you had a platform that connects you to incredible people in your industry? The kind of platform that gets you leads and lands you clients without you having to beat down anybody's door or blow up anybody's inbox. Whether you're already creating content or you're desiring to start and it's something that's been kind of burning inside of you for a while, I urge you and encourage you to check out the Pro Podcaster Academy. Get started right now. Join the waitlist at robzwentz.com.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world globally. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, join the Connected Leaders Academy today. Check me out on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JASCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
Jake, loving this conversation. Really powerful stuff. You talk about no 0% days, not going 0%. I think I understand what that means, but I want to hear from you. What does that mean?
100%. Do you mind if I start with a little story?
Yeah, sure.
You know those people who will tell you that, like, oh, it was easy for you, as you mentioned like a few minutes ago. It's easy for you. You've been lucky. Sure, maybe, right? Maybe I was lucky. Maybe I was lucky that I was told that I only have a few months to live. Maybe I was lucky that I lost everything and more. And my client said, like, we owe you like £50,000 or $70,000. We don't have the money. Goodbye. Maybe that's luck. Maybe, right? And I remember, like, today, I had a friend. Let's call him Tom. Tom asked me. Tom is a regular guy. He got a normal job. He's very happy. Just an average Joe, And Tom asked me one day, like, hey, I have a day off tomorrow. Can I spend entire day with you and help you and just see what are you doing? You seem so busy. I was like, sure, not a problem. You can spend entire day with me. And he spent about 17 hours with me from the day I started my working day until I finish. And he was so tired. He said, like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, I'm so tired. Do you do this every day? It's like, yeah, this is my life. This is what I do, I go to bed and I wake up and I repeat the process, and I will be doing that for a long time. And he asked me, like, why do you do that? And I said to him, Tom, so one day people will call me lucky. And he looked at me and was like, okay, fair enough. And then about 7 years later, both of us, we were at the party, a very, very fancy party. Can't remember what it was. Like, it wasn't even a party. It was like a ball kind of thing. Okay. And it was me and him and someone else. And someone introduced me to this beautiful girl. She was I can't remember. She was entrepreneurial. She was running a business, and someone introduced me in a lovely way. Oh, Jake is doing this and that, and he's also a coach, and he's running marketing agency and construction business. I was also and non-profit organization. I built from 2 volunteers to over 600 volunteers. Quite impressive, right? And she said, like, oh my God, wow, you're so successful. You are so lucky. And I look at Tom, and Tom looked at me, and I smiled. And Tom was like, I got it. Yes, you're lucky because you've been working 16 hours a day for like 10 or 12 years. But going back to no 0% days, because there's a connection to it. You see, I always say, if you've got your vision, if you know what is it that you want, you clearly know what it is, right? And you really want to succeed. Because if you have a vision, but that vision is not yours. For example, I want to buy a Lamborghini, and I would ask, have you ever drove a Lamborghini? Have you ever sit in Lamborghini? And you say, no, like, that's not your fucking dream. Sorry for my language. That's someone else gave you that idea. That's not your dream. That's not your vision. Vision must be yours. It must be something that you wake up in the morning, like 3:00 in the morning, and if someone will ask you, what's your vision, you are so excited and you tell, and it's just like, you know what I mean? So once you know what's your vision, you have to do something every day that will take you closer to that vision. And I call this no 0% days. There will be no days in a year, in a week, in a month, in a quarter that you will do nothing that will take you closer to your vision. You have to do something every day. In Japanese culture, we've got something that is called Kaizen. Kaizen is a philosophy that is basically explaining get better every day. You don't have to get better 10, 20, 50, 100% every day. You just have to get better every day, but just a little bit, 1%, 0.5%, 2%, but get better every day. And no 0% days are all about, like, if you have a bad day, which happens to all of us, don't do nothing, at least do something. If you don't want to go to the gym, just go there, don't do nothing, and spend 5 minutes in the gym and then go back home. At least you walk or you did something, right? Anyway, the chances are, if you do a little bit, you end up doing a little bit more. You know what I mean? You want to send one email, you end up sending 2 or 3, which now suddenly you go from almost nothing to at least something. And the next day you feel good about it. You feel like I wanted to do nothing, but I pushed myself. I have been disciplined. I did very little. I did minimum, but I did something. Again, I'm not saying to do the minimum every day for entire year. No, the 0% days is all about like when you want to do nothing, do at least something.
Yeah, good advice, man, because when you start doing something, the hardest part is starting, right? So once you start, the ball starts rolling, and you're going to do more than you're doing. Something is better than nothing. And when you do something, something else is going to come out of it. You're going to grow from that. And I have, just to add on to that, there's also a question I always ask myself. It's been really, really helpful. My mentor gave it to me, and it's a simple question. What can I learn from this? Or, you know, what good can come out of this when something bad happens? And I was talking to my friend the other day. He went through a divorce. He's really dealing with a lot of stuff that, man, you just don't want to deal with. And he was going through something really hard this one day. And I said, man, what can you learn from this? Like what from this situation? Because it seems like a total loss. It seems like there's nothing to gain from it. And he's just being beat down. And I really feel for him. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, you can learn something powerful from this that you can apply to the rest of your life. And what he came back to, because I asked him that, and he came back to me with an answer of, whenever somebody's trying to drag you down, don't let them drag you down. So if he feels his ex-wife pulling him into like her storm of chaos, you just shut it down, build boundaries, put boundaries up. There's an incredible, talk about a lesson that you can use in so many different situations, professionally and personally in your life, is to build boundaries, the boundaries that are going to help you to grow and to keep the things like the distractions or whatever, the toxic things in your life out. Those boundaries are so powerful. So along with what you said, never having a 0% day, what can you learn from situations? Really, really powerful. And I'm curious for you. I know that there's been many situations probably where it hasn't been good, but you've learned from it. Do you have a great example of that?
I'll tell you a funny story, actually. I agree with you 100%. There's always something good in any situation. It doesn't matter, good or bad. Even if it's something bad happened to you, you know, you've been told by a doctor that you're going to die, something good might come up from it. And I remember, like today, I was giving like a motivational speech at one of the London universities. So I live in London, UK. I can't remember which. It was one of the very prestigious universities. And I remember I asked the audience, I was holding an apple seed in my hand, and I asked the audience, what do you see? And all of them is like, well, it's an apple seed. And I said, like, well, you see an apple seed, and I see an apple tree, because you think in a short term, I think in the long term. I plan many years ahead. I think about my vision, because it's so much easier to make decisions when you think long term. And also that little seed represents that something can grow, something big can grow from something so little. You know, coming back to what you said, like there's always something good in any bad situation, but you have to look for it, because most people don't do that. Most people, they just look at the bad situation or something that happened to them is like, oh my God, why me? Well, why not you? Why not somebody else? Why not you? Well, like, who else would you choose? Like, oh my God, I've got a cancer. Well, why not you? Who else would you choose? It's just like, sure, it's a bad thing to happen. You know, I was also very sick, and I could also ask, like, why me? And concentrate and on concentrating on the negative rather than concentrating on like, what can I do to change it? What can I do to fix?
Yeah. I mean, look at all of these different ways I can grow because of this bad thing that's happening.
Exactly.
Life is calling me to grow and get better. And that's what life's 100%. Always calling us to do, to get better. Because if we don't get better, we're going to get worse. There's no middle ground. There's no standing still. I'm doing okay right now, right? Oh, I'm doing fine right now. Things are okay. That's temporary. It's going to start slipping backwards if you don't start moving forwards. And so it's really simple, once again, go back to this. These things are simple concepts, but you have to build that into your mind, right? This is how things are. They're always going to be this way. I'm really curious. So you started the construction company with zero experience and built that into something very successful. For somebody who's never started the business, what gave you the confidence to dive in? What lessons can you learn from going into something you know nothing about and then building something incredible out of it?
You see, I started reading all those self-help books and business books from since I was like 14, 15. And all of those books always said, like, you have to have a mentor. You have to have someone who already did it, who can tell you how to do it. That was a long time ago, before free access to the internet and stuff like that. Over 20 years ago, like almost 25 years ago. And I remember when I came to the UK, when I was 19, I had only like £150 in my pocket, which is about $180. Which is almost nothing, but I have a big dream. I always wanted to be successful. I always wanted to have more. So I found myself a mentor. It wasn't an easy thing to do, but I found myself a mentor, and I said to him, like, hey, I want to be successful. I want to be rich and everything and all of it. And he started to asking me those very tough questions, like, oh, you want to be rich, but how much money do you want to do? He's like, give me a number, because a lot is not a number. You can't count a lot. It's the same that there's, you've got Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, but one day is not in the calendar. But anyway, he said, like, okay, how much money do you want to do? And I said, like, this outstanding amount, which is like £50,000 a year, right? So a lot of money. And he smiled, because this guy, he's like so rich. We met in Mayfair, which is like one of the most expensive area on the planet. He still lives there, and so basically he said, like, you have to start your own business. And I was like, okay, I have to start my own business. And I said, what business? And he looked around, he saw a scaffolding somewhere and construction site, and he said, you have to start construction business, because construction is easy. And I was like, cool, yeah, no problem. I'll start construction business. There's a small problem. I know nothing about construction. And he said, like, no. He said something like this: don't create yourself a job. Create a system, create a business, find other people who will do the work. You just have to find customers, put it all together, create a business, not a job. And that was a very good advice, which I did. The next day I printed out the business cards, which said, I think it was, what was it? Jake's construction business or something like that, or whatever.
Pretty generic,
yeah, very generic. Or Jake's Builders. Oh no, it was Jake's Builders.
Okay.
35 years of experience, or 30 years of experience. And I was like, where did you came up with 30 years of experience when I was like 19 or 20 years old at the time? I was like, well, that's a marketing trick. One of the construction guys, he got 7 years of experience, and another got 8, and another got 10, and suddenly all together, there you go, 30 years or 35 or 40 years of experience. Anyway, in about 2 weeks time, I think in 2 weeks time, I found myself the first client, and I found my first construction team. I put them all together, and there you go.
There you go. Yeah. Simple, right?
It was hard work. Believe me, it took me about 2 weeks to interview, I don't know, 60, 70 teams of people who've been running different businesses, different construction businesses. So I wanted to find the right contractor. It took me some time to figure it out, where to post ads and where to advertise to get those first clients on a very limited budget, which it was basically £0. So very limited. But somehow I figured it out. I found that first customer. We finished the project. Everything went almost smoothly. And I took it from there, from like £5,000 turnover to a few million turnover.
Amazing. That's incredible. I love that story. And that's but going back to the simplicity of it. I mean, it's like you said, it was a lot of hard work, but it's taking action and then following the action up with more action and just keeping things moving. and not getting stalled and slowed
No.
down, and just staying moving, and things are going to come to you. Ideas are going to come to you. People are going to come to you that can create that momentum.
100%. And sometimes people ask me like, wow, how did you do that? Like, why did you do that? And I always explain, listen, I was an immigrant. I had almost nothing, which means I had nothing to lose. I could try. If I lost the money, well, I didn't have the money, so I couldn't lose the money. I could lose time, which was fine. I was very young. When you are very young, you should try anything. You just try do anything that you can. Work 16, 18, 20 hours a day. In your 20s, you should do that. You should squeeze everything from you like from a wet towel, because now when I turn 40, I don't even want to work 16 hours a day, because I want to enjoy life. But when you're starting, just do anything that you can. Obviously work smart at the same time. Yes, you have to work hard, but you have to be smart at the same time, because minor workers, they're not rich, they work hard, but it's not about only working hard. You have to be very clever and very smart at the same time.
Yeah, great advice. So as we're coming to the end of this episode, Jake, this has been awesome. Really enjoyed chatting with you and learning from you, and thank you for sharing all this wisdom. I want to let everybody know, if they want to connect with you, you leave it open for a free 90-minute call. Book a free strategy session with yourself at your website, jakesmolarek.com, so they can get all the information in the show notes for this episode. What can they expect? If they go to the website, they book a call, what can they expect?
Well, I have to admit that I will answer every single email. I will not necessarily give that free. It's not a coaching session. It's an initial consultation session, but it's a very intensive session. If someone is, if I can see that someone is like eager to do the work and they want to change and they want to build something, I will give it for free. There's no like hard setting or anything. But it can go for up to 90 minutes, sometimes even 2 hours. My longest one was about 4.5 hours, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
Completely for free. It's very intensive. I'm one of those people. I'm European. I'm one of those people who will tell you how it is. I will not sugarcoat. I will just tell you exactly what it is. I will tell you what you do good and well and what you're doing wrong. Some people like it, some people don't, but it is what it is, right? But at the same time, I'm not here to please you. I'm here to help you. My mentor, John, was exactly the same. Every single time when I met John, I was like, I'm doing everything so well. There's nothing that can be changed or improved. And after meeting John for a breakfast and talking for 2 or 3 hours, I was like, oh, damn it. I have to change everything. I have to improve everything, because you can always go to the next level. It's like going back to playing video game. You can always go to the next level, and you actually should go to the next level. Don't rush it. But at the same time, don't stay at the same level for too long. It's the same when you go to school. You stay at one level for 1 year and then you move up and move up. You don't want to stay and be stuck at the same level at school for 5 or 6 or 7 years. That's why those little desks, they're so little, because you can only stay for 1 year.
Yeah, that's a good point. They're not going to wheel in a bigger desk for you. You got to get out. So great advice, man. JakeSmolarek.com. Go there and check out that strategy session and everything that he does. Thank you for being here today. Anything you want to leave the audience with before we sign off?
I mean, I always say to people that if you have the vision and if you really want to achieve that vision, you just cannot give up. The big problem is sometimes people give up too early. They don't understand that usually if you think that something will take 2 years, it will probably take 4 or 5. It usually takes twice as long, and it costs 3 times as you think it will be.
That's great advice, and that is the truth. And I learned that from a mentor also. If you think it's going to take a week, it's going to take a month. A month, expect a quarter. A quarter, expect 6 to 9 months. It's 100%. Like just keep pushing it out. That's such good advice, because you can get disillusioned when it doesn't happen when you expect it to, and then you quit.
100%, but people don't understand that everything is adding up. You
Yeah.
know, eventually everything. I love what Steve Jobs says. You cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards, because then like, oh, this happened and I met this person and this happened, and it's just like, yeah, just keep going. Sure,
Yeah.
you can change your mind, you can change your vision a little bit, you can adjust your vision. At the same time, you can adjust your sail. You know, you can always find a solution.
Yeah.
But I like the example. I was chatting to a client the other day, and I asked him like, what would you choose, $1 million today, or 1 penny or 1 cent doubling every day for the next 30 days? And he went straight away for 1 million. But the truth is, if you double 1 cent for 30 days, you will end up with 5.7 something million. That's the power of compound interest. You know, if you keep adding, eventually everything will add up, and then you will succeed. It's a guarantee. If you've got the vision and you've got the GPS, eventually you will get there, even if you have so many obstacles, because the vision GPS works exactly like the GPS in your car. It will find a way. Even if you have to go around, it will always find a way.
Yeah. Wow, man. Powerful stuff. So many nuggets in there to pull from. And I love that. It reminded me of The Slight Edge. That's the great book, The Slight Edge. That's one of the things they talk about. It's all about compound interest, but $1 million or a penny a day for 30 days. That's a mind-blowing question too. When you realize, you're like, holy cow, that's incredible. So great stuff. Thank you, sir. A true testimony of breakthrough once again on the show. Until next time, this has been the Unstuck Movement.